to Integrated EDU,
where innovation meets education.
Here we explore fresh strategies,
creative learning pathways,
and powerful tools to boost student engagement and growth.
Let's elevate education,
one idea at a time.
Hello, educator friends. Welcome to Integrated EDU.
How's it going? So it's been going pretty good for Integrated. We just got done with conferences, parent-teacher conferences.
Yes, we did.
Whew.
And if you know, you know.
You know.
So we are definitely in the grind of everything happening at school, and we have so many things happening with Integrated.
Yes.
We're going to be at some conferences coming up, but we also have a lot of awesome behind-the-scenes stuff happening as well.
I know, we're busy.
Yes.
We're busy.
I feel like that can be an understatement.
It could be, which I think leads us to our topic this month for our podcast.
Yeah.
So our topic this month is passion meets purpose. Passion meets purpose. Because when you have a passion, you are going to find you just keep grinding, you just keep going. We're very passionate. So the topic for that is because Integrated we turned 4. We turned 4. We turned 4. So our episode this time is all about kind of how we got started, where we're going, what's next. Yeah, we turned 4.
I know, because a lot of people, we do get asked quite a bit, like, how did this ever come to be?
Yes.
Like, you're in the classroom. How did you ever get the idea to start something beyond? And so we're like, well, since it's our birthday month, we figure what a better time to tell a little bit about it.
Celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Celebrate. I'm all about celebrations. Okay, so how did this all begin? Karen and I were blessed to be able to work with the University of Wyoming. We worked separately. I was working on a 2nd grade curriculum. Kara's working on a 1st grade curriculum, and we got to help develop our science curriculum for our district at the time. And there was just so much deep dive in that. We were digging into standards and understanding and just really trying to figure out how it fit into our classrooms.
It was a really great opportunity for us to grow as educators, but also to grow as individuals in the, not just as like teachers, but in the field of education, just growing the knowledge of, curriculum building, digging into standards, what it all entails to get something kind of like this off of the ground. So it was a really, really amazing experience for us to be able to do that.
Yeah. And then not only like creating it, but making it purposeful for other educators. Because when we sat and started to do all this work, we were thinking they're not going to want to do one more thing. They're not going to, if I showed up and was like, here's a new curriculum, find time to teach this, and that's when we started really thinking about how can we make this purposeful for our educators currently in the classroom for us to use. And that's kind of like the baby steps of how this all started to kind of come to be.
Yeah, we were continuing working on specifically just the science piece for the University of Wyoming and for the district. But as we were doing that, like Meg said, that's when, our runs after school, that's when we started to really dig into, okay, this is amazing work, but how are we going to get educators to buy in? I mean, we were teachers in the classroom at the time, and we, with our kids at school, we were like, we don't need just one more thing. And so just the two of us, we kind of were putting our heads together thinking, how can we create less with more, essentially? And so aside from what we were doing there, we were just trying to brainstorm how we could benefit other educators with the amazing work that was being done.
And then something honestly amazing happened. The director at our district told us about a teacher leadership academy that was happening in Texas. It was Houston, Texas, at the Exxon Mobil. And we applied thinking, maybe, 2 Wyoming teachers, we maybe have a chance. And we got in. There was 20 other educators there?
Yeah, it was very small group from across the nation.
Across the nation. Yeah. And Go ahead.
I
I
was
know we're
gonna
both
say,
excited
I
about
know
it.
it was just a really cool pivotal moment for us, you know, as educators, but
Mhm.
also for how integrated came to be. And I was just gonna say, you know, we don't, she didn't just tell us about it. She's actually the one that nominated us
Yes, she
because it's
did.
by invite only. And,
Mhm.
you know, we had kind of talked to her a little bit about, you know, what our conversations had been on the track and like what possibly could, you know, come out of this work. And she was the director of the science at the time, and like she was completely on board, and she's the one
Yeah,
that got us going with that. And like she said, out of the entire nation,
I know.
both of us were accepted at the same time, which is
It
it
was so
doesn't
cool.
happen. It
It was
was
so
so
cool.
cool.
We got to spend a week there, and through that work, not only were we learning different ways to engage students in science topics and all the things with that, that's when like the augmented and virtual reality glasses were coming out and how they used that in their corporate world. And so being able to kind of think about that in education was fun. But I remember there was a moment when we were there that week that we both kind of looked at each other and were like, wait a minute, we could do this. We could share out our knowledge in a leadership role. We could be leaders outside of the classroom. And that was kind of the next turning point of how this kind of came to be. And then we started sharing it with our families. We started talking to our friends, our colleagues. We presented at our district. It was Integrate Like a Boss.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best title. It's really not the best title, but it's good.
I mean, we've
It
grown a
went,
lot.
oh my
We've
gosh,
grown a
we
lot.
have, and it went so well.
It
We had
did.
so much buy-in, so much excitement coming from those educators. And so we were like, well, what if we shared it even further? What if we just applied to some conferences and shared our knowledge? And somehow we got into a national conference, the Innovative Schools Conference. We presented in San Antonio, Texas,
Yep.
and we thought that it was the best. We were on the Riverwalk. You know, we completely rocked our session.
Oh yeah.
They were so engaged.
Yep.
All six of them. All six of them. You know, and honestly, okay, but there was a couple that came back that next year and said, we
That's
saw
true.
you in San Antonio. We're excited to see you again.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you never know. The
know.
people that come are meant to be there. And you know, it's just like a tiny little seed or an idea can blossom into something that you don't
Yeah.
even realize.
I mean, we did start during COVID, so
Yeah.
there was that. That was a perfect time. Um, Yeah, and so after we presented that first time, we were hooked. It was just something we're like, oh my gosh, our purpose, this passion for this of sharing with other educators and being there for them and giving them our knowledge and then making their lives a little bit easier in the classroom. And then we just started to go.
Yeah. And you know, just like Meg said, we just started to go, and you know, it was one of those things where we never really planned for a lot of this to happen. It's just like one thing led to another, and so here we are. We're still presenting at these major conferences. We're in schools doing trainings and PD sessions. We are just we're, you know, holding a virtual cohort, just all of the things. And it's just amazing how it's all just coming together.
It is. And you know, I think too, like we were told by a few of our friends, that our speaker friends, that we have literally broke the code for instructional strategies, that we have figured out how to make a customizable approach to your curriculum and then paired it with purposeful strategies that help engage students. And I think our passion continues to grow because in our classrooms, we hear all the time, I just wish my students were more engaged. I really want these behaviors to go down. I feel like I'm constantly putting on a show and it's still not enough. And as much as we hear you and we feel that, we have found a way for that to be less in our classrooms, and we're not going home exhausted every day. We're still getting the content taught in a way that meets each individual classroom. So I think that's where that passion meets purpose really comes into play.
I was just going to say that's where the purpose is coming from, because there is such meaning behind what we're doing and what we're trying to share, that, you know, we're passionate about what we're sharing, but it's because we know the effect that it can have on both students and educators in the classroom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you know what? Why do something if it's not purposeful?
Exactly. We don't
Yeah,
have time for that.
we don't have time for that in the classroom. I mean, outside of school and when we have a little extra time, I get kind of doing some of those off the wall things. And
Mhm.
yes, having fun with your students is so important, but what if you were having fun with them and still teaching content at the same time?
Absolutely.
Our students need to have that knowledge.
Mhm.
I could totally get in a soapbox here.
Yep. Well, yeah, we both could at
We
this
could,
point.
we
Yep.
could. So, okay, but
Hence why we still have integrated.
hence why we're turning 4. Okay, so we also get asked a lot, how do you do all of this?
Hmm.
Like, how do you have time for all of these things? Like, where?
Mhm.
Well, honestly, we kind of told you how integrated started, but I remember sitting on the couch in our living room after Kara and I decided that this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go for it, and we needed a name. We didn't want to put our names on it. We
Mhm.
needed something that just kind of encompassed what we did. And we just kept throwing words at each other that encompass what we were doing, the
Mhm.
passion that we had. And, you know, they, there was so many words.
We literally had notebook pages
Full.
full and some good, some not so good.
I know, some synonym, a lot of
The
Google synonym words coming through.
thesaurus was our friend for a while.
And honestly, we were thinking like, what is it that we do? And we integrate things together.
Mhm.
And it was content. At first, it was science and reading because
Mhm.
we didn't want our science curriculum that we were developing with the university to just be put in
Mhm.
on the shelf. But also we're more than just integrating content together. We're more than just a customizable curriculum. We decided that the integration needs to be part of it, but it's integrated in education. So
Mhm.
that's how integrated, the capital ED at the end, kind of came to be.
Mhm. And if you notice as well, there's an arrow
Mhm.
in our logo as well. And part of that was kind of the same thought process of what Meg was explaining of it's not just content, it's so many other things, it's those social skills, emotional skills, just everything. But then the arrow, it just shows continued progress or continuously moving forward. Because that is what we want for our students. That is what we want for ourselves. We just want continued growth and continued progression in a forward motion.
Yeah, yeah. I think our logo has a lot of purpose behind it, which, passion to purpose, we're sticking to that
Uh-huh.
that arrow is everywhere. And honestly, that arrow is for us too. It's a
Mhm.
reminder for us to keep moving forward, even when things seem a little bit challenging, that we want to be a sounding board and the help for educators to kind of find that joy in teaching and all the things encompassed.
Mhm.
Like integrated is all about the teams that you build.
Mhm.
It's about your team teachers. It's about working with your art teacher and your music teacher. And, you're literally all integrated together.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
that's how we came up with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly, we think about, our name and our logo and everything. And it's almost like we chose something so big and we didn't realize it at the time, but I feel like we've almost grown into it more and come to the realization of, yes, everything is literally integrated. You think of teams, you think of content, you think of resources, like everything that we're doing is literally integrated together. And so it's just kind of cool how that's the name that we chose, but yet it literally is a symbol of how we do our, everyday life in the classroom as well as, our business.
Yeah, it definitely is our passion word.
Mm-hmm.
And and okay, so on that, we also get asked like, okay, you're current educators in the classroom, and we just look at people and like, yep, still doing the thing 180 days out of the year. We are in 3rd grade. If you didn't know that, we're both teaching. We get to teach right next door to each other. Kara is so lucky. Every morning we stand out in the hallway with our coffee and we greet all the kids walking in. It's kind of my favorite thing to do.
It is. It's a pretty great morning tradition.
It is so good. And the kids know it. And so we're in the classroom. We're doing the work still. And I think that's part of why what we're doing is so beneficial for a lot of our educators is we see and understand what's happening because we're doing it with you. But on top of that, we're also wives. We have those husbands. They're phenomenal.
They are.
But then we also have lots of children, lots of kids. I have 4.
I have 3.
Yep. So together we have a lot. And, they're ranging from age 15 all the way down to 2. And so there's never a dull moment.
Nope.
There's never a dull moment.
So our support systems that we have in place are huge.
Very integrated.
And again, because of the work that we do, our lives, they intersect a lot. Our kids are very good friends, the ones that are the same age, and the olders help with the littles, and our husbands are also a huge support, as well as extended family members as well. Just huge supports for us. And again, that word integrated, it is literally showing up, when it comes to, family support in us going out and speaking and all of that. So it's been a pretty amazing process to see how that's all come to be.
Yeah, we feel so supportive. And I think one thing to take out of that is to surround yourself with people that you want to kind of become, honestly. We have some absolutely amazing people that we have met in the last 4 years. Some of them now we get to call our best friends and our speaker friends, and them sharing their knowledge of how to make this more purposeful for us and how to just become a little bit better each day.
Absolutely.
And we always get asked, well, how does the dynamic duo in education work? Great.
Not no modesty there, just
No, it is just like I am so lucky, seriously, to have this one, because we are yin and yang. If you haven't met us yet, or just watching us, or you will know we are 2 completely different people, but the way we work together is something extraordinary. We never find fault in something. It's just, did you get that? Do you need help with this? Or I'm going to grab this. And the workload doesn't feel like work when you have that type of connection.
Absolutely.
And then you think about like our school team and our team teacher. She's there. Well, okay, I'm going to say both, because our SPED teacher is pretty amazing too.
We
have
literally the
best
team as a whole.
Oof. It's good. And it comes down to really thinking about who you are as a team member and how you work, and then just being patient, understanding someone else.
And another way that IntegratED has literally integrated things together, because along this journey, like Meg said, not only are we doing trainings and PDs on content and innovative curriculum and scope, and like all of that entails, but also how to build strong teams, because that is what we have done. And so we've come from teams that are maybe not so much, but at this point in this stage, people ask, how are you two so strong? How is your team so strong? Not just us, but the team surrounding. And so we feel like, that is a huge piece as to making what you're doing in a school setting successful.
Absolutely.
You have to have that strong team surrounding you in order to, create strong content, to create strong lesson plans, and then essentially to create strong instruction.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Just today, I was telling one of our team members, I said, "Oh, we're recording today. IntegratED's 4." And she literally was like, "What? Already?" And I was like, "I know." It's crazy to think. It's crazy to think that this is the journey that we get to be on. And, I just keep thinking about how this path is going, and it's not necessarily about always the next new thing. It's about what you're doing, and maybe it just needs to be looked at differently for the team that you have, for the class that you have, for whatever you are in your life and education. Just, it doesn't always have to be completely different.
You don't always need to reinvent the wheel. It honestly sometimes just takes a different perspective. And that is one of the passions that we have, is just showing you can take what you have look at it a little bit differently and
Customize it.
create something amazing for your kids without having to necessarily reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So IntegratED is 4, and we have had such a fun journey. This has been so good.
Mhm.
Not only do I get to teach with my best friend, but we get to travel, we get to learn together, we get to fall and get back up. And really, honestly, the passion is just being there for you guys.
Mhm.
You know, it is why we do what we do. It is why we have late nights and early mornings and work on the weekends, because we know the passion that we have to help other educators just
Mhm.
around the nation, and hopefully past that,
Mhm.
that the impact that it's having is
Mhm.
just, it's just truly coming from our hearts.
Absolutely.
So what's next?
Oh man.
What's next?
So as like we've been talking, you know, we're continuing to grow and continuing to want to be better, not for
Mhm.
ourselves, but for you, because we want to provide all of you with the very best resources and ideas and all that entails. So one thing that we have coming up is we have, what's the word I'm looking for? Modified what our integrated cohort looks like. So
Mhm.
we are now offering our integrated cohort by semester, which we are super excited about. And we are super excited. We're going to be starting the next one up in January.
Mhm.
So that way we have 2 semesters and you are able to work through that in a little bit shorter time span. And that way we can kind of customize it for you in that way.
Yeah, yeah. So be on the lookout.
Mhm.
What's launching this month, November, and you can sign up for yourself individually as an educator. You
Mhm.
can also sign up with your team. We have
Mhm.
team rates as well as building or district level.
Mhm.
So we are currently working with one school, and we just got off a call with them, which it
Mhm.
was so good. So with that, you can hop on and have that community, that integrated, passion-seeking, hardworking educators,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, you really you just need more. You need
Mhm.
more brains, you know, you more ideas, and we want to be there for you. We
Mhm.
want this to be a purposeful and exciting experience to help you get through
Mhm.
whatever content that you have to
Mhm.
teach.
So like Meg said, you can sign up with a school, or you can also just sign up individually. We have had cohorts from past years where we literally have educators from across the nation, and it is just so extremely powerful to put our heads together and being able to work with teachers in Georgia, ranging all the way from teachers in Colorado and Idaho. So, and everything in between. So don't feel like you have to
Yeah.
sign up with a school or a team. You are able to sign up as just your own as your own individual wanting to better your instruction for your students.
Yeah.
But we do also offer the schools and
You know
districts.
what's really cool about that is that year, that time that we had that, it's amazing because all of us have, you know, across the nation, we all have different ways that we teach or different things that we need to hit. And to hear that a different way in a completely different area,
Mhm.
oh, it was powerful.
It was.
It was so good. It was so good.
It was very cool.
Yeah, so make sure you look for that. You
Mhm.
can go on over to our website, integratedk12.com, click on cohort, and you can learn more information about that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we can't really tell them all the things, but there's one more thing coming, and we can't announce it yet. We can't announce it yet, but know that IntegratED in 2025 has something pretty phenomenal for you.
Yes, 2025. It's gonna be
It's
big.
so good.
It's gonna be
so
big.
good.
It's gonna be so good. And we are beyond excited that this
Yes.
is coming to a reality,
Yeah.
honestly. It
All the
is.
late nights and early mornings and weekend work. It's for you guys. It's
Yep.
for you guys. So,
Yep, absolutely.
all right. Well, we have to go eat some cake and blow up some balloons because we are going to celebrate. We're very proud of how far we've came. We have helped so many educators already, and we cannot wait to continue this work.
Yes, we're so excited to continue working with more of you across the nation and
Yes.
for what's to come.
Here we go. All right.
Mhm.
Let's think different together.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
night.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow educators.
Join the conversation in the comments and let us know how you're applying these strategies in your classroom.
Together, we can create meaningful learning experiences for all students.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.